So for this kind of a problem, number 27, it's basically what is called a statistical sampling. So what they have here is a region which is 10 meters by 10 meters. So let's do a quick sketch of this just to get an idea of the problem. So you got 10 by 10. And in this region, they have randomly selected 10 regions A through J, each of which is 1 by 1 square. So they've selected 10 of these 1 by 1 squares. Okay. So how many of these 1 by 1 squares can we have in a 10 by 10 region? The total area of this field is 10 times 10, which is 100 meters square. And the area of any one of this sampled region is 1 meter square. So we have 100 regions which are 1 by 1 in this total field of 10 by 10. Now once they've selected these 10 regions, they have counted the number of earthworms in them. So if we add all these earthworms together and we divide that number by 10, so we basically find the sum of these and divide by 10, that gives us the average number of earthworms per 1 by 1 square, which is per meter square. So with that average, I will then multiply that with the 100 regions, which are 1 by 1 regions, to get the total. That's how you solve the problem. So if you add this up and divide by 10, you see all these numbers are some kind of distribution around 150. So I'm going to take a guess that this is probably 150, this average. Multiply that by 100, the total becomes 15,000. Now there's a way to reverse engineer this problem as well. Once I figured out that this is how I calculate my total, I will go to each one of these choices A, B, C and D and divide that by 100. So I'll move that just to find the average. So if I do that division by 100, this becomes 1.5, this becomes 15, this becomes 150 and this becomes 1500. So this entire column here is basically my average. And I looked at all these numbers of earthworms here and I realized that the average of these numbers cannot be 1.5 or 15 or 1500. That's why I didn't even actually calculate the average. But if you do not see this, you can just actually do the work and you'll find that the sum of all this will be something like this. And then something like 1500. 10 of them added together, 1500. Then you divide by 10 to find the average, and that average will come to this 150. So this is a class of problem called statistical sampling, where you cannot actually find the number of worms in so many of this 1 by 1. It will take too much time. So what you do is you sample randomly 10 areas or 20 areas or 5 areas. So you sample them and you find the average in each such sample, and then you multiply by the number of samples. That's exactly what they do when they go and try to predict election results. So there are millions of voters and they will just ask 5,000 people, who are you voting for? That's statistical sampling, and then based on their answers they make predictions.